Do you want to sell digital designs on Creative Fabrica, but you're not exactly sure how? Well, you've come to the right place. In this video, I'm going to do a deep dive on how to sell on Creative Fabrica. Here's what I'm going to cover: why you should sell on Creative Fabrica, applying to sell, what exactly should you be selling, creating the actual digital files, creating a listing, what sort of metrics are important, and how to request a payout. Let's jump in. All right, now if you've never heard of Creative Fabrica before, no worries. I'm going to do a little bit of an overview in this video. And if you've never heard of me before, well, the channel's called Crafty, Stax. And if my voice is familiar, you may have heard me on another channel called Zen Watercooler. So that's me, Zen Watercooler. And this channel is mostly about print on demand. But the Crafty Stax channel is mostly about deep dive artist resources and selling digital designs. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. I absolutely love Creative Fabrica. What is it? It's a huge website where you can purchase individual assets such as fonts, graphics, bundles, and all sorts of cool digital designs. You can also purchase a subscription as well. I'm going to click the little subscription button here. So somebody who's interested in print on demand, let's say, would order a subscription on Creative Fabrica, and they'd pay for this all access subscription, and they would get access to everything. So in this video, I'm talking about becoming a seller on Creative Fabrica. So your inventory would be listed in with everybody else's. So when I go to fonts, for example, I can see all of these fonts. Well, these are actually created and sold by people just like you and me. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can make a digital design and how you can list it on Creative Fabrica and how the whole process works. So maybe you've never heard of Creative Fabrica before. Maybe when I mention digital designs, you think of Etsy. And of course, when I type in Etsy, I get 228,000 results under SVG bundle. And check out some of these prices. There's big bundles for $1.32. I'm in Canada, so the prices are Canadian. 3,500 mega bundle for $2. So the question is, well, why not just sell on Etsy? Well, you could, and in fact, I encourage you to diversify your portfolio of where you decide to sell. The reason I like Etsy is because you can deal directly with a client and you can make some good money on Etsy. However, there's risks involved. Etsy can ban your account. You can get strikes against your account. If you sell, like, for example, this one here, this is a trademark design. So this person's probably going to get banned from Etsy eventually. It might take them years, but they'll definitely get banned eventually. Creative Fabrica, on the other hand, I think represents an amazing opportunity for true passive income. And I want to explain why. Check this out on Etsy. We've got 3,500 mega bundle for $2. It's really tough to compete with that kind of a price point. As we look through these different designs on Etsy, we notice most of them are $2, $3, maybe $4 US at most. I'm in Canada, but you can do the conversion. So what happens is people wind up undercutting and pricing themselves right out of the market. Turn instead to Creative Fabrica. Creative Fabrica has two huge advantages. Number one, it's free to list on Creative Fabrica. So if you're a seller, you can just list 1 item, 10 items, 100 items, 1,000,000 items. You can list as many as you can possibly make. The second advantage to Creative Fabrica is that they actually pay you to list. That's correct. There's nothing wrong with your headphones. It's true. Creative Fabrica will actually pay you money for every sale you make, but because of their subscription, they take all the subscription money and then they divide it up using a formula based on people's listings. So the more you list, the more you actually get paid, even if no one buys anything from your listing. Now, it's going to be pennies, okay? You're not going to be buying a yacht from your digital designs sales if you don't actually sell anything, but you will make something. And that's important. You're not paying. So if you're looking for true passive income, Creative Fabrica represents an amazing opportunity. So the big question becomes, how do you actually open a store on Creative Fabrica to sell your items? I want to point out in this masterclass, there's no affiliate links. So although I'm a partner with Creative Fabrica, the links in the video description are just going to be true links to opening up a shop, for example. So here's a link, creativefabrica.com/open-store. I'll put this link in the video description. And really, you just click this button and it just says open your shop. Now, what'll happen is you'll be asked to apply. So you'll have to log in. And then when you log in, you'll get a page that looks like this. So I've just logged in. This is a brand new account. So you can see here it says current earnings available in your wallet, $0. And then it says there's an affiliate link. So this is like a normal account that you would just create. You can buy things on here. It's right here. Are you a designer? Start selling your work today on Creative Fabrica. Turn my account into a designer account. I'm going to click that. And then you're going to put in your name. And then here's the important piece, link to your design portfolio. Then you also have to kind of sell yourself a little bit. Tell us why you would like to sell on Creative Fabrica. So I'm going to check out this link piece first. Links to your design portfolio. What does that mean? I suggest you go to a place like this, behance.net. It's totally free. It's run by the fine folks at Adobe, and it's a free way that you can create portfolios. So I'm just going to click on here, one totally at random. This is Natala Art. And I'm not saying this person's in any way related to Creative Fabrica. I'm just picking them at random. This is an artist's portfolio. So as I scroll on through, we can see this person has uploaded these designs, and you can follow this artist. You can share their work. You can message the artist directly. It's basically a portfolio sharing platform. The website is called www.behance.net. Totally free to sign up, and I suggest you do, and then you can upload your best works into Behance and then link that to here on Creative Fabrica. Link to your Behance portfolio so that they can see how great of an artist you are. And then when you've got all this filled in, you would click Request to Open Shop, and it may take a few days for the folks at Creative Fabrica to review your work and either approve or deny your request. And of course, if they deny your request, I would suggest you go back to your portfolio, make it better, and then apply again. So now the question becomes, well, what should I sell? Well, it's really a combination of two things. What are you good at making? So in other words, what's your ability? What opportunities are there on Creative Fabrica? So I don't know what your skill set is. So I'm going to talk about that second piece. What are the opportunities? So here's the best way to find some opportunities. You can either go onto Etsy and you can see what's selling, or in Creative Fabrica itself, I'm going to go to like graphics, for example, and I'm going to click Browse All. Now this is going to bring me back 4.7 million graphics. That's probably a little overwhelming if you're first starting out because you don't really have time or energy to look through 4.7 million graphics. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to type in a search term. So let's say I'm going to type in Canada funny, okay? Because I'm from Canada and I think I'm kind of funny. So I've got 29 results. Okay, well, that's pretty good, right? I mean, only 29 results. So if somebody wants a funny Canada design, like there's opportunity there. Now, if I type in something like retro New York, that's a totally different option. There's 91 results. So even though there's 4.7 million graphics and it's always growing, you can certainly look at what's in here. You know, this is a great looking New York City retro t-shirt design, for example. And you can look at that and you can say, can I make something on par with that? Can I make something different? I don't want to say better, but could you take advantage of a different take on that? So I'm never, ever, ever going to suggest you rip off somebody's design. But what I am suggesting is you take a look at niches and you look at what's popular and you map it towards what you're good at. And then you can find an opportunity. Now, if you don't know how to create your own digital file, don't despair. I'm going to do a quick overview, maybe a couple minutes worth here. And obviously my entire channel is dedicated to a lot of digital design resources. So make sure to check out Crafty, Stax, and like and subscribe and all that stuff. Okay, so the first option you've got to create digital files, and perhaps the best option would be Adobe Illustrator. I want to point out it's not Photoshop. Photoshop is a photo editing software. What you want to do is create digital files, and digital files might be photographs, but in a lot of cases they're going to be vector files with an SVG extension. That stands for Scalable Vector Graphic. Now, to create an SVG file, you want to use a program like Adobe Illustrator. Now, that's not the only program that's available. There's also Affinity Designer. Now there's an Affinity Photo. You don't want that. You want Affinity Designer. Okay, so Designer is how you make actual SVG files. It's a great program. Now which one's better? I can't really say. It depends on what, which one you've used over the past few years, or if you've ever seen them before, what you're comfortable with. The big downside is that you get it with a subscription. So you have to pay like $28 a month. Now I'm in Canada, so it might be a slightly different in whatever country you're in. Affinity Designer, on the other hand, you buy it once and you're done. So I actually own both, but Affinity Designer to me is great because you just buy it and you don't have to subscribe. There is a free option. It's inkscape.org, and you can download this right here, and it's great. I use Inkscape all the time, and I've got lots of Inkscape tutorials on Crafty Stax as well. At the risk of having a completely shameless plug for the Crafty Stax channel, here's the video that I'm going to put in the link in the video description. It's Inkscape Create a Vector Black and White, and this is the bare bones basics on how to actually create a vector file. So it's about 10 minutes. I'm not going to get into it here in this video, but let's pretend you've already created the digital file now and you're ready now to list it on Creative Fabrica. So here's just an example. I'm in Inkscape, and that's the free option to create vector files. And I've just created a simple t-shirt design. It says my password is the last 10 digits of pi. Hilarious. And so what I'm going to do now is just go over to the right-hand side, and 6 down, there's an export feature. So I'm going to export this document into a PNG. I'm also going to save it as an SVG file, a DXF file, and an EPS file. I'm also going to save it as a JPEG file. So I'm going to have 5 file types when it's all said and done. So now I'm in Windows Explorer, and I have my 5 different file types. It's the exact same design, but it's a DXF, an EPS, a JPEG, a PNG, and then also the original SVG file. So what I'm going to do now is take all 5, so I'm just going to Control A, send to compressed folder. So I'm creating a zip file that contains these 5 things. So this zip file right here, when I double click it, there's the 5 items. That's the file. The zip file is what I'm going to upload onto Creative Fabrica, and that's what I'm actually selling. Okay, so when you first log into Creative Fabrica as a seller, you're not going to have any followers, you won't have any favorites, you won't have any earnings, and then you won't have anything in your wallet, which is your unpaid earnings, and you won't have any products listed either. So you got to start somewhere, right? You're going to go up to the top right, and you're going to add either a new embroidery design, graphic design, a new font, or a new bundle. In this case, we're going to add a new graphic. So I'm going to click the new graphic button. All right, now this next step of listing the design is critical because once you submit it, you can't easily go back and just edit it. So if you make a mistake, it's going to be cumbersome. So you got to make sure that this is correct. Your product name, it's 40 characters. I would just recommend you go take a look at what other product names are. What you're looking for here is keywords. So I'm going to type in funny pie password t-shirt. The category I can select from the drop down, and there's a whole bunch in here, and it can be a little bit overwhelming the first time you see it. It's like, holy moly. But a lot of it is not going to be applicable if you're just uploading a regular t-shirt design. But you do want to take some time to understand what the different categories are. There's needle arts, teaching materials, 3D SVG files. The list goes on and on. What I'm looking for here is simply illustrations. Now the description. I would recommend that you take a look at other designs to see their language, and then you can basically, I don't want to say just copy it word for word, but you can make it your own. So here's an example I just picked at random. It's another pie related shirt, and what I'm really doing is I'm just taking this here and I'm just going to copy it, and I'm just going to use it as a base to start. I'm not just going to copy it as is, but I'm just going to pump it in there to start. Here I'm going to say file format, SVG file, one transparent PNG file, which is correct. And I've got an EPS file, a JPEG file, and then it says high quality with 300, I think they meant to say DPI, so I'm just going to change that. That's dots per inch. And I'm just going to move this up. And I'm also going to add in here, because I actually have a DXF file as well, so I'm going to put in one DXF file. And then it says here, this design can be used on t-shirts, mugs, bags, poster cards, and much more. You may want to add a sentence or two in there to try to add some flair in there, but this is good. Now I'm going to add in product tags, and it's important to add these tags, and you want to have them accurate and plentiful. Pie, and then enter. I'll put in math, enter. Funny, pie, enter. Okay, so there's an example of all the different product tags. And again, I'd encourage you to do as many that are relevant. You don't want to stuff it full of garbage that doesn't mean anything. But here I've got a few that look like they're related to the shirt. Now we're going to move on to the product images. So this is right here, drag and drop files here or browse files. Now what I recommend is you don't want to have the product file too large. This is your thumbnail. Now it says no greater than 5,000 by 5,000. The risk you run if you have a really large thumbnail is somebody's just going to nick your file. They're just going to steal it because the thumbnail is going to show the entire file. So I'm going to show you a couple tips here on how to create a good looking thumbnail. I'm going to create 3 thumbnails here using my Pi design. I'm just in my ancient old version of Photoshop, and we can see here my width is 580 pixels. My height is only 386 pixels. The resolution will be 300 dpi. I'll hit OK. That's going to give me a pretty rinky-dink little thing here. So I'm actually going to go view, zoom in, and just make the palette a bit bigger. So here is my actual design, and I'm just placing it now in Photoshop. It's going to be a little bit fuzzy, but remember, I'm at 200%. So when I go back actual pixels, we can see here it looks pretty good. I would not recommend that this just be your thumbnail. And the reason is it's too easy to steal. So what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to go to a site like this. It's called pexels.com, and these are all commercially licensed free photos that you can use. So I'm actually just going to pick this one over here on the right. This is a guy wearing a t-shirt with his head down. It's a free download, and I'm just going to download this file, and I'm going to use this for my thumbnail. The other thing I'm going to do is take a picture here of a coffee mug. I'm going to use this one here, and I'm going to download that as well. Okay, so I'm importing my picture now. I'm going to zoom it in quite a bit. I'm going to make that now be the main image. I don't necessarily need his head or the rest of his body, but I do need the shirt. There we go. Now you can make this better if you want. This is sort of advanced, but in Photoshop, there's actually a way you can stylize the layer. You can actually go in and do soft light. So I could just do that and then duplicate it. There's lots of different tips, but you can do that and you can make it look a bit different. So it just kind of merges into the actual t-shirt, kind of blends it, which is kind of cool. But anyway, that's one option there. Okay, so I'm going to now save this. This is going to be my first thumbnail. Okay, the next image I'm going to use is the coffee mug. Again, I'm going to make it quite large. And there we go. That's now my second thumbnail that I'm going to use. So the reason I'm doing this is it makes it more difficult for somebody to just take this design because they don't care about the coffee mug or the hand. They want the actual design. So this will make it harder now for them to copy it. So I'm going to save this. This will be thumbnail number 2. Okay, so for this last one, you do want to have something that indicates what it is. I'm just going to, because it says text in it, I'm just going to leave this as is. But if it was just a picture, then I would have a title or something over here saying, funny rabbit or something like that. But here I've got SVG, PNG. I've got the different file types listed down at the bottom. You may want to have it overlap the actual image if you're really worried about somebody stealing it. So if you put in a lot of time and energy, then you may want to do that as well. Otherwise, you would just leave this kind of as is. So I'm actually just going to center this, and I'm going to change this so that it's a bit vertical. Because this is such a tiny thumbnail, I'm not too worried about somebody taking a copy of it. So this will be my third thumbnail, but this will actually be my cover thumbnail. So this is really the first thumbnail. Okay, so we're back in Creative Fabrica on the dashboard, and now I'm going to drag and drop, or I'm going to browse my file. So I'm going to click on this button, and I'm going to import my 3 thumbnails. Okay, so I'm going to take my first thumbnail and double click it. That's now going to upload here. I'm going to drag and drop my second one. It's uploading. And now I'll take my third one, and I can see now it's uploading. They should upload very quickly. You can see the file sizes are very, very tiny. So here's my 3 thumbnails. Now the actual digital file that you're selling is over here on the right-hand side. So I'm going to click this file button again, and I'm actually going to grab not my individual files, but my zip file. My zip file contains all 5 files. You'll notice the size of it is 1 megabyte. I'm going to double click it and it'll start uploading. It's pretty quick to do. There it is. It's now uploaded. If it's too big, it will tell you. Now, you've got some options down here at the bottom. Consider as a freebie. If I click this and they select it, I get $20. That's pretty cool. Pick and mix is this thing on Creative Fabrica where they do bundles, and inside the bundles, they're bundles that the customer can actually pick and they can mix and match, which is pretty cool. So if you want to consider that, you'd click that button. I am going to do that. Consider for a discount deal, this will be discounted to $1. I'll say sure. And then dynamic pricing, Creative Fabrica has different licenses, and so you can have this included in those multiple licenses. So I'll say yes. Now as I scroll on up, I do want to point out, I got to price this thing too, right? Now I can make it a free product, which is $0. And you might be wondering, well, why would you do that? If you have a lot of designs, you may want to throw every 3 out of every 100 into the freebie pile so that customers know who you are and they like and they follow your work. What'll happen is if somebody follows your store, when you release new products, they actually get an email and they get a notification saying, hey, Joe Schmo's released a new product. So that's pretty cool. I'm actually going to price this out though. I'm going to price this out at $1.50. I'm going to then go down to the bottom. I'm going to click this box to confirm that I agree, and I'll click submit. And once you've submitted, you'll get a little thank you message, a confirmation, and then you can go on and you can repeat and you could add a new graphic if you wanted as well. So if you work hard and you upload a lot of high quality designs that people are interested in, you may make some sales. Even if nobody's interested in your designs, you may make some true passive income just by listing the design. Now, when you want to request an actual payout, what you do is you go to your wallet. So I'm just going to go here to the regular page on Creative Fabrica. This is the main launching page, okay, the main home page. And I'm going to go up to my profile. And then I'm going to go to affiliate dashboard. Now this is a brand new account that I just created for the purposes of this video. So it's all zeros right now, but the affiliate earnings, you would have designer earnings in here in your wallet. So I'm going to click on wallet. And then what would happen is in here, you would have money, and then you would add a payout address, your email address, and it needs to be typically $10 or more, or else you got to pay a fee. So wait till you get like $10 in your wallet, add your payout email address, click submit. It'll take 7 days for Creative Fabrica to pay you. And so you just wait a week, and then after 1 week, you'll get paid that money directly into your PayPal. I really hope you found this video helpful. I get requests a lot from people who say, I want true passive income. I want to be in love with life and be an artist and actually create things that I'm passionate about. And I truly believe that Creative Fabrica gives you a great in because it's free to sign up. It's free to list. It just takes time, energy, and you need to have a willingness to learn and improve over time. And if you can do that, the sky really is the limit. If you have a question or a comment, please do throw it down in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. And if you found this video helpful, please do hit that like button. I truly do appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time. I believe in you. Here's another video on the power of Creative Fabrica. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody.